Hey, Uber to the tubers! What's going on? Hope everybody is doing spectacular. So, we have right here a Kawasaki KE175 and a Kawasaki KE125. This is a comparison video. I have been asked numerous times about numerous questions about both of these bikes. Are they the same? What's compatible? What's not compatible? Will the engines fit? Will they not fit? Where can I get parts? All that type of stuff and more answered in this video. So, both of these bikes are from the 70s. 1978, 1977, so they are a year apart, and you can tell by the paint job on them. So let's talk a little bit about what is compatible and what is not. Basically, on these bikes, the entire front ends are the same. It's the same shocks, the same shock seals, the same brake cable, same brakes, same wheels, same tires. Well, I mean, they put different tires on them, but they both fit. The little mud guards in the front are the same. The front fenders, same. The triple tree, the headlight assemblies, all the same. Same horns. Both of these bikes can take the same horns, same bolts, same handlebars, same directional, same controls. Okay, there is so much of the same on these bikes, it's not even funny. So we'll come around this side right here. So you can see right here, you have your engine stop right here, engine stop right there. Everything's the same. Same bolt patterns, same bolts, same forks, same ignition switches, different keys, of course. Same gauges. Okay, see the gauges are the exact same. They take the same mirrors. There is a little difference part here, guys. Okay, so this is more of the KE100 style. All right, so right there. This is the choke. All right, on the KE175, you can actually turn the headlights off, but that's just an added feature to that. That's the only difference in the front ends. Okay, they take the same neck bearings. Pretty much everything is the same up in there. The locks are in the same spot. It has a little different rubber guard here. This one right here is serrated right here like that, but other than that, it's the exact same. So if you need to get any front end parts and you can't find them for a KE175, the KE125 will do you just fine. It'll have no issues, and vice versa if you had to go back. Okay, so those parts are all compatible. Fuel tanks, exactly the same, just different paint jobs. The what do you call it there? There is no difference in the tanks, the shape or the size or the mounting. Seats are also the same. Directionals are slightly different in the back. These ones come out straight. These ones have to bow up because they would hit the exhaust. Okay, so the directionals in the back are different. The whole tail light assembly, from the mount, the light, the plate mount, and everything is all the same. Same on both bikes. So now we know that the entire fork assemblies are the same. The tanks, the seats, the batteries are all the same. Now let's take a look here. We're gonna go on the side here. You can see where the toolbox is right there. It's a triangle piece right there with the flap. It's the same toolbox. I'm not sure about the kickstarter. Let me find that out for you. Even the kickstarters are the same. So you guys can see that. Slight difference. Not enough to write home about. So they are interchangeable. Same thread and all that pattern. The rear wheel assemblies, the brake cable for the back, pegs, all the same. The brake mechanism, the same. All that stuff. Actually, no. The brake mechanism on this bike, on the KE125, is not compatible with the 175. Those parts are different, but the cable is, I believe, the same. Same cable. Okay. Let me just double check that. Actually, no. The cable is different. That's right. The cable is different on this one. One of these is actually compatible with the Honda, believe it or not. So I was just going over that, and I'm like, is that the same? So I was just comparing to the other bike. So no, the brake cables are not the same, but the rear wheel is the same. There is the electrical is different. There's different electrical. Not the electrical harness is not the same. All the light bulbs, the horn, the gauges, all that is the same, and the controls are the same. Now we're going to go to the heart of the whole thing. We're going to start with the exhaust and work our way to the engines, okay? You can use the baffle that slides in. They are the same, or pretty darn close. They'll work. The exhaust systems are completely different. Different shape, different guards, everything's a shape because they use two different engines. Sorry about that. They have two totally different engines in them. That one over there, let me see if I got the cover right here. I got the cover right here to it. There is the cover for the KE175. And then the cover for the side for the KE125 uses two-part cover. This is the clutch cover, and then there's a carburetor cover. They are not interchangeable. Also, the frames are not interchangeable. They are so close, you would think that they would just bolt right on there. You can put this motor on a KE175 or vice versa. They are different. You're probably saying to yourself, Kevin, what's different about the motor mounts? Okay. The top one up back here is the same. Okay, this one right there is the same. That's pretty much where it ends there. On this one, you have two mounts up in here on the KE125. But on the 175, it is different. So you got one here. See, the other one had two, and it's not welded to the frame. It's welded to the frame differently. And you have the second one down bottom here, where this bike doesn't even have the mount spot for it. So they are completely different. Definitely not interchangeable at all. So that is one of the major things with these. Cylinder heads are not interchangeable. This one has a cutout for the exhaust here, and that one has a different shaped coolant fins. It would bolt up the same. I believe they're the same head gaskets, but they are totally different heads. You can't use that head on this bike or vice versa because they are two totally different engines. That engine, with the way the mount is more Suzuki than it is Kawasaki. It's a Kawasaki engine, but it's more based on Suzuki. This one right here is more based on KE, Kawasaki style. Now I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that because I have gotten a lot of questions. Can I put a KE125 engine onto my KE100? The answer to that is no. They are completely different. Nothing would line up, nothing would mount up. So let me start talking about that. This has a KD style pipe. Okay, on the KE100s they go down to two thinner pipes. The exhaust will not mount up even if you tried. Okay, you literally have to cut your frame. So that's part of it. The electrical is different for both bikes. The motor mounts in the front here are totally wrong angles, so you would have to cut this off the frame and re-weld your mount here. The back mount on this bike right here on the 125 is wider, so you'd have to cut and notch, and you just have a mess of stuff to try to put this engine onto your bike. Now, there is something that you can do, okay? If you can get a bike motor shipped to you from Pakistan, okay, you're going to be looking at a KH125 or a GTO 125. I have a friend, Mohammed, who actually has a bunch of those, and he's in the forum. So if you enter the forums, look up Mohammed and you'll find him, and he's a great guy. I bought in tons of parts. In fact, I bought the tachometer drive for my KE100. That motor would fit right onto your frame, and it's a 125. Not this type of 125. It's like a KE with a bigger bore and a different stroke. Okay, so back on these bikes right here. So, we now know that the engines are completely different. The exhaust is completely different. But if you take off the engine and the exhaust, and of course the brake cable there, they're pretty much the same. There is a few differences, you know, like fine little details to them, like certain parts of the what you call it, the electrical, and like the switch up on the handlebar on that one. That's really just a difference on them. They both automatic oil injection. The oil tank reservoirs are the same. There's a lot of the same. There's more the same than there is different. So they are very, very close. I highly recommend either one of these bikes. They're great bikes. Okay, so I just popped off the seats and I wanted to show you under the seats. So here's where your battery would sit. It's the same battery tray, same flasher, your oil reservoir cap, and your air filter assembly right there. You just take off those two screws, that cap comes off, and there's your air filter. Same thing with this one. You pop off the two screws here, the air filter assembly there, flasher. This is your diode right here for your charging, and your fuse holder. On this one right here, looks like this one just has the battery, because this one has, remember I was telling you about the difference in the electrical? This one uses a diode. This one uses a voltage regulator, like the KE100s do. So I'll show you where that's located. This is what I was telling you about the electrical being different. If you look right here, there is your voltage regulator right there. Let's see if you can see that. Right there, this gray box is your voltage regulator. Regulator and rectifier. And on the 175, see, there is nothing there, because it uses a diode style right there. Now, what is a diode? What does it do? What's a diode? What's it do? Alright, a diode allows voltage to flow in one direction, is what it allows. And it does something that is super, super cool. When you have AC current, so your alternators on these, the generators put out AC voltage, okay? When it hits the diode on one side, it's AC voltage. This converts it to DC current on the other side. What's the difference between AC and DC? Okay, I'll tell you that, and I'm going to make it real simple for you. Picture this as an alternator. It produces alternating current because it's spinning, okay, and it's producing electricity. This is alternating current. So the wave goes up over positive, goes down under negative, back up again, okay? This is alternating current. Now, what is DC, direct current? A battery. A battery puts out DC current. Just directly hooks up to the battery, up to the bike, and it just puts out power. So that's alternating current because it's an alternator. This is direct current because it's a battery. That's the easiest way to remember that. So if it's a stator, a generator, an alternator, or anything like that, electric type motor, it is an alternator or an alternating current. If it's a battery that has direct power, then that right there would be DC. Okay? Same thing with your house. Your house is AC voltage because it's alternating current from the power supply company, the power company. If it was direct current, we'd be in trouble. Okay? I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, and I wanted to show you guys the bottom of the seats. The seat pans are completely interchangeable. Everything's the same. The latches, the cross piece right there for your books, and all that is the exact same. So there is a lot of the same on both bikes, but there's also a lot different. So there is a lot of parts that you guys can get from either bike, and hopefully this video helps you guys with that. We're trying to find parts. Now, where can you find parts for these bikes? I get my parts on eBay. I get them through Amazon, Partzilla. I get them from all over the place like that, really, to be honest with you. I get them from very many places. Babbitt's. I mean, there's literally, just put it into Google what you're looking for, and it will come up. And I also want to tell you guys about something else. An app called Google Lens. What Google Lens is say you were looking for a fuel tank. Okay, look at this fuel tank. You can take a picture of it and you put it on Google Lens, and it will tell you what the tank is and where it came from, and it'll show you similar ones. You have to make sure you get the fine details. They're not quite always the same, but it'll point you in a direction that will allow you to, what do you call it there, possibly find the part you're looking for. So I wanted to show you guys all that. Hopefully this video, guys, helps you in your search for parts and what's compatible. So all three bikes, the KE100, the KE125, and the KE175 are, in fact, three totally different bikes. However, these two, brothers and sister, okay, have so much in common, it's not funny. Alright, you can literally look and find many parts and pieces that will fit on each bike, as long as it is not engine related. And yes, I know your next question already. Alright, so through my YouTube channel, I have went through the computer and into your brain, and I know what question you're going to ask me. So I'm going to beat you to the punch, and I'm just going to tell you, they are interchangeable, but there is some differences, okay? And I'm talking about the carburetor. Yes, the carb. Everybody asks me, Kevin, are the carburetors interchangeable? They are, in fact, the same carburetor. But hold on. I gotta be honest with you and tell you right up front, there are some differences. One being the jetting. So, if you put the 125 carburetor onto a 175, you're going to burn up your 175 unless you change your jets. Okay? And vice versa. You'll probably just keep flooding this one out. There are some differences, so let me show you guys what the differences on the carbs are. Okay? If you look at this carburetor right here, it has this down tube that goes down to the rubber grommet. That piece right there is not on the other carburetor, so this is blocked off. So you would have to plug it here. Also, this bowl has the drain to it off to the left. Alright, see how it's offset to the left? Now we're going to go take a look at the other carburetor. Okay, so on this one right here, it's not used. Okay, so you could literally twist that moves on this one. And then this right here has a drain plug this way. So if you bought the carburetor, you would have to change out the bowl, and your bowl would fit. Okay, that's a couple of different things that are different on them. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. The floats are different a little bit as far as adjustment is concerned. And if you're going to use the other bowl, you have to change the floats to the other style. Also note that there are two styles of floats on these bikes. Okay, so this is around the era where they changed float styles. So you have the two pontoons on the little bracket, and they go up and down together like so, all in one piece. That's a one-piece float. Then you have your two-piece float, which there are two individual floats that slide up and down on pins. If they are different, then you can't change them out. So you have to physically take apart your carburetor and look for a carburetor that has the same exact float setup you do, so you can use it. So you might have to play around with a few different year bikes, but they did change that in a few different years. I do not know what years they changed them. So when you're looking at pictures on eBay and they got the float bowl off, make sure you take your float bowl off and you compare the pictures, because you want to make sure you're getting the proper carburetor, because you have to use that bowl. I mean, yeah, if you're going to put this carb on that bike, you're fine. But if you're going to put that one on this bike, you have to switch out the bowls, and you got to make sure you get the same floats, because the pins that the individual floats slide on are into the bowl of the carburetor. So they are different, and they're not interchangeable. So you got to make sure you do that. Other than that, they're the same, and hopefully that helps you guys out quite a bit. There's a lot of information. You're probably going to have to go back through and check it out. But these bikes are very close. I mean, they're so close, it's not even funny. So hopefully this helps you guys when you're looking for parts. And I mean, literally the brakes are the same. There's so much the same, guys. There's so much the same, and they're both beautiful bikes, so you can get a lot of that. But like I said, the exhaust is different, the engines are different, the brake cable is different, the electrical is different, but that's pretty much where the buck stops there. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hanging out with me again. And I will talk to you guys later. And if you guys have any questions, by all means, put them in the comment below. And I will talk to you guys later. I'm out.